Let's talk about it, y'all. Moments ago, Corey Holcomb responds to Joe Budden and Godfrey. That's right, y'all. For those who may not know, last week, Terrance Howard exposed some claims against Diddy. And of course, Corey Holcomb, he gave his reaction on his show last week on the 5150 show. And of course, a lot of people reacted to Corey's take, right? One person in particular was Joe Budden, who had some things to say about Corey Holcomb. And also, Corey responds to Godfrey. Okay, with some people on Godfrey's podcast who reacted to the viral video of fans walking out a Corey Holcomb show. Okay, that was a topic a couple of weeks ago. So it seems like Corey Holcomb is he's tired of all of these people ganging up on him. Okay, according to Corey, he's calling individuals that's a part of Backdooria apparently, upset with him right now with some of his recent takes. So before we get into Corey's latest response to Joe Budden and Godfrey, we're going to play this clip from Joe Budden so y'all can hear exactly what was said about Corey Holcomb. Okay, then we're going to head on over to Godfrey on his podcast and hear what was said about Corey. And then last, we'll show you Corey Holcomb's reaction, or shall I say response to Joe Budden and Godfrey and others. And I'll give y'all my take. All right, so with that being said, let's get right to it. I don't want to hold y'all up. All right, I appreciate each and every one of y'all tuning into this video. Make sure to like, share, and subscribe if you haven't already. But all right, let's get right to it.
Interview and just talk about niggas however you feel like
niggas don't give a fuck about none of that.
I know, but at some point,
well, some niggas do though.
Then my question's valid. Then my question is valid.
Yo, I think niggas get selective, honestly.
That's true.
I think niggas get selective.
I think it's just a bunch of weirdo niggas on the
And I think everybody has the right to say, yo, that's corny. I don't agree with that. I never want to.
Quincy Jones was corny for doing that.
And I agree. So I want to say.
It was funny, but it was corny.
But see,
nigga, you a rat.
Facts.
It's funny to you.
I don't know what y'all talking about.
It might not be funny to the
Before
family.
Quincy Jones died.
Quincy Jones started telling about who fucked who and all that. You a rat. You a snitch.
Oh, no. I'm talking about a lot of gay.
Now it's not. But it's not because the person that is attached to you.
It's not true. You keep saying that, but that's not true. How we joke about age? Oh, you 50 years old. Shit just comes with you being 50. There's a thing with senior citizens where because you 75 and 85,
you just gonna say whatever the fuck
telling shit like it is, and your tomorrows are lesser than your yesterdays, so you're just getting shit off. And young people, you gotta understand that. Old people, there's a thing. Old people don't give a fuck.
They don't.
I don't think that old people stigma shit applies to Corey Holcomb, and that don't mean I'm selective.
You feel the same way about Patti LaBelle when she had a
to Imani's.
Do you feel the same way about Patti LaBelle when it came to Luka?
I didn't know that it was an uproar. I learned that here with y'all. I didn't see nothing wrong. Y'all talk.
He stood down on that point when he found out. Yeah, that's true. He stood down on that point once he realized the dynamics. But just to not keep it just on Corey Holcomb, I mean, we're watching. Oh, no, actually, you want to say something? I'm sorry, I apologize.
No, go ahead.
I was going to say, I'm looking at Terrance Howard do something very similar.
All of that shit.
With the Diddy shit right now.
All of that shit. To me,
how is that similar?
Another example of Diddy didn't do shit to him.
True.
Even if I believe everything Terrance Howard said, and I do, he said Diddy might have tried to hit.
It's an assumption.
Wait. What?
It's his assumption of what he think Diddy was planning to do with him. Nothing ever happened.
It is. They are both
the same way Corey is assuming to be blackballed in the business because of whatever.
Terrance Howard.
No, nigga, we're not playing.
Joe, Terrance Howard.
Y'all are dead ass.
I'm saying both are like dry. Both you snitching on people for no reason.
Okay, slow down for a second.
They're in the same vein.
I disagree. Y'all know this about me already. I don't think nobody should be outed. Y'all know that, so I don't have to qualify with that.
Right.
So, of course, I think Terrance Howard outing anybody is corny.
Okay.
Outing is corny. That to the side. I don't view that the same as, one of these people has been in the news for sex crimes for years. Now, we're going. One person has not. One person smacked somebody. There's been rumors for years, but I'm not in the news for sex crimes.
It's even more of a responsibility not to speak on something like that when you don't know what really happened. And nothing never happened to you.
If somebody is in the news for sex crimes,
so what, Joe?
I don't think it's let me land. I don't think it's so uncommon for somebody to be in an interview and say, that tracks. This was my experience when I went over there. I don't think that's the same as Corey Holcomb saying I'm not getting gigs.
Here's why it doesn't track.
Wait, can I ask a question?
Get the fuck out of here.
Isn't this the same thing?
All right. As you can see, that was some of the comments made by Joe Budden in reaction to Corey Holcomb's take on Terrance Howard exposing claims against Diddy last week. Okay, as you heard Joe Budden, he's not a fan of people outing, I guess individuals within the business, right? The entertainment business. Because again, I guess from Joe Budden's perspective, in his mind, until we get the facts straight, I guess, it's no need to add fuel to the speculation, right? And when it comes to Corey Holcomb, people, they forget that he is a comedian. He's an entertainer. But most importantly, he has a unique point of view, and this is why his audience tunes in, okay? But when it comes to certain things now being brought forth in the media, Corey has been speaking on these topics for many years. You know what I mean? They're just celebrating their 15-year anniversary of the 5150 show. So listen, the end of the day, like I said, everyone has their unique perspective or point of view. You know what I mean? Joe Budden, he's no different. You know what I mean? A lot of people tune in to hear his take being an MC in the rap game. It's no different from Corey Holcomb. Now, is Corey outing people? It's no way around it. Even in this recent episode on the 5150 show, Corey said he wished he didn't say Will Smith's name. You know what I mean? And I think at times Corey is very aware of the impact, right? Or at least the controversy that could be stirred up once he's naming certain individuals within the business. You know what I mean? And then Corey, at this point in his career, understanding that, he is who he is. You know what I mean? It's no sense of censoring himself or his platform in hopes that, maybe one day Will give him a role in a movie. I mean, that's just not who Corey is. You know what I mean? People are very upset at Corey at times for constantly speaking on Backdooria, right? And the LGTB and all of the things that has basically been spoken on, for decades at this point. You know what I mean? It's just we're now in the YouTube era. Now, let's head over to Godfrey. Excuse me. Let's head over to him so y'all can hear the comments that was made. Because at this point, I do believe that this may be a misunderstanding. For some reason, Corey has something to say about Godfrey. And like I said, before we get into that, I'm going to show y'all exactly what was said by Godfrey, or at least what was said about Corey on his show. Let's see if somebody got a clip. About to say.
Unfortunately.
Hold on. Well, I got y'all here. Okay, shout out to the GMS show. Hold on. Let's see. Let me get this for y'all real quick. Again, like, share, subscribe if you haven't already. I appreciate y'all tuning into the show. Let's see if we got it.
Out in drop.
Hold up. I'm going to make sure to leave the links in the description for these videos so y'all can check it out, the full video and hearing everything in its entirety. And also subscribe to these content creators and their channels, man. I see y'all grinding. Keep pushing.
Like saying things like.
Hold on.
I am laughing at his. He's always been just to.
Also made a point saying, "Well, is the."
All right.
Corey, right?
Let's get it.
I don't like this today, but there's plenty of women that be dying laughing at his. He's always been funny. So like you said, sometimes there's a personality that gets mad at your joke. It's happened to me. It's happened to you.
Oh yeah,
it's happened to all of us. Yeah. So I give him some grace because and you're last and we don't, and I didn't see, they didn't show the whole.
And nobody booed him either.
No.
They left, but they
didn't show the whole arena either.
Yeah, everybody wasn't leaving.
So it was an arena tour. It was the We Them Ones tour. Mike Epps hosting. Courtney Wayne, Carlos Miller, Lil Duval, Duvall, Corey Holcomb, Mojo Brooks, and Bubba Dub were on the show.
You got
Anybody named Bubba Dub is not getting off.
You got they're not getting off on time.
Anybody named Bubba Dub.
Nigga, Bubba Dub definitely ain't getting off stage.
You know, Bubba Dub did a tight 5.
You know that nigga got the sound cue every 5 seconds.
He probably got like this. Who want to see Bubba Dub?
Yeah. But like, so wait, so what was Corey's response to this?
I don't know if Corey has a response to this. Mike, does he have a response to it?
Yeah, he put out a response video.
Oh, he tried to get it taken down. That's right.
Yes.
Corey tried to get it taken down.
What's the response video?
Well, it was that exact video that we just watched.
Okay.
He tried to have that pulled from the internet. And they spoke on that.
Corey,
Corey, you can't have a career talking shit about people and then try to get a video taken down.
He tried to get it taken down. And Comedy Hype was like, "Really, Corey? You try to?"
Yeah. Here's the problem. If you and I love Corey to just, but it's like you get at motherfuckers. You always getting at motherfuckers.
Every time you
looking for you to slip.
If you Nick, listen, if you type in Corey Holcomb, the next suggested word is gonna be beef, and then with some niggas, it's gonna be Corey Holcomb beef with Tiffany Haddish, with like it's gonna be a slew of niggas that he's beefing with.
So it's funny. I was looking for this. I typed in Corey Holcomb bombs, and the next 9 things on Google were like Corey Holcomb drops bomb on this guy.
Yeah,
Corey Holcomb drops bomb on this guy.
All he does is talk shit about people. He done called every nigga gay except for niggas who was gay.
We got a couple super chats on the subject.
Yeah, where's the super chats? Let's go.
Sterling Borg sent in $5. Says, "I guess you could say Corey is mild."
See?
And then
that's a reference to
yeah.
Go ahead.
And then Ladania M sent in $20. Said, "I went to the show that they had in Columbia, South Carolina, and the same thing happened. People walked out on Corey Holcomb."
Wait, what? So wait, where was that one at?
Columbia, South Carolina.
Wait,
what was the video? What was in Virginia?
The one we watched was Hampton Beach, Virginia.
Yeah.
Oh, wait a minute. So there. Oh, so
Night Owl said Corey Holcomb wasn't at the We the Ones tour in Columbia last year, and nobody left early. Last year, everybody stayed until the end.
They going at Corey because
they're because of Corey and what he's done to people. I think they're just going, well, he wasn't. I give Corey some grace on that.
Yeah,
it happens. But Corey created this. Though
he did
this reaction from people, he created this on his own.
Because
I'm sure he's going to handle it.
Everybody,
yeah,
he always beefs with everyone.
Yeah.
It's like you can't have beef with everybody. Every time someone mentions Corey Holcomb, it's because he's going in on somebody. Every time it's like
that's why people watch him too.
That is why people watch him.
There's times where he's very on point, though.
I agree, but it's like, nigga, you can't call everybody gay and then do the gayest thing ever, which is gossip. This nigga is gossiping like a motherfucker. He done call every nigga gay, but then he gossips with a hat. I'm like, nigga, are you gay too?
I think Akeem is mad because he didn't get called gay.
Well, no, he's not gonna call me because he's not gonna call me gay because I'm like, okay, because what's gonna happen? I'm like, oh, girl, you right? Like,
all right, y'all. This is why I said, this had to have been a misunderstanding because Godfrey, like he said in this commentary, gave Corey grace, right, in reaction to Comedy Hype and that beef with Corey Holcomb. Like I said, there was some video footage taken of Corey Holcomb on set at the We the Ones tour, okay? And apparently there was some video of fans walking out, and Comedy Hype, they covered it, right? And apparently Corey Holcomb made attempts to try to get Comedy Hype's video taken down. Okay, now again, when it comes to comedians and being on stage, it's tricky because of the venue, and it's very tricky. But at the end of the day, Comedy Hype platforms like them or just content creators in general have a right, because of the Fair Use Act, to react to, any video that's trended within media or within the news cycle. You get what I mean? So that's what stirred up the controversy in regards of Comedy Hype. Like I said, they've been going at it for years. Corey has been sending shots at them. And now Comedy Hype, who goes by Hype Plus, they fire him back. Okay, a lot of people just sending shots at Corey, but even on Godfrey's podcast, which I'll make sure to leave the link in the description so y'all can check it out. Like I said, Godfrey, he extended grace. It's the co-host who admitted that, he is LGTB. So clearly, Corey has rubbed some people the wrong way, hence why he finally decided to respond on his show. Now, let's get to Corey's response to Joe Budden and Godfrey and others. Like I said, Corey, it was a matter of time before Corey was going to give his take. So let's get right to it. But again, I appreciate y'all for tuning in with me right now. Make sure to like, share, subscribe if you haven't already. Like I said, I just want to give y'all context before, I play Corey's take, because everybody gonna be like, well, damn, what did such and such say? You know what I mean? You know how that go. But yeah, man, like I said, this is very interesting because you got so many platforms now being mentioned as a part of the conversation. The Joe Budden podcast, you got Godfrey, Corey Holcomb wanting to debate Joe Budden. You know what I mean? Like, this is interesting here. Got to see what comes with this. But give me a second. Let me see if I can find the exact point when Corey responds. And yeah, we're going to get right to it, man. Like I said, I appreciate each and every one of y'all tuning in, but I don't want to hold y'all up any longer. Like I said, I'll make sure to leave the link in the description so y'all can, check out the full video or the full episode of the 5150 show this week.
There's too many men.
Let's get to it, y'all.
Who are suspect after me in my career now. Now, I'm going to say there was a debate that I would like to talk about with Joe Budden's and them guys. Like Joe Budden's, he mentioned about that Cam Newton thing when I was on Cam Newton, and I said, or I alluded to Will Smith on the Backdoria side of the game.
Yeah.
I ain't gonna lie. I wish I wouldn't have said no name, but I said it and I got to stand on it.
That's the perfect word after you say Backdoria.
Yeah.
But.
Yeah, but yo, man, this thing, man, it's like, I don't like necessarily being at war with so many people, because it's too many people, if you ask me. But I know what I stand for is going to bring drama.
Yeah. But is it war or is it just people?
Well, I don't think it's war with Joe Budden's them yet. I hope it doesn't. I would like to, like Terrance Howard, I saw him say this word on where he was talking about the people who talking crazy about him. I don't think Terrance Howard knew how many people was going to be talking crazy about him when he said stuff on the internet. Right. And Terrance Howard said, I would like to have a duel with you.
What did Joe Budden
ain't that an old school word? Yeah. We can have a duel. We can use bottles, guns, whatever.
What did Joe Budden? That's all he said?
No, Joe Budden feels like I was telling when I mentioned Will Smith on the Backdoria side of the game.
Telling his business?
Like he said, that's snitching.
But it's just your
business. And so look, no, just let me say this, because I really would love to debate that crew over there about this. And Craig, you and Darlene might not even agree with me, but I want to say this. If a man gets penetrated by a man or is penetrated by a man and I say something about that business, I don't feel like that's snitching. Any perverted acts that go on in the community, I feel like, once that is put out there as
chats down.
Well, see, I can't say facts because it would be snitching if I was to say this is how I know.
Or that you were there, or exactly that you specifically.
That would be snitching. But when I live out here on this West Coast, and we know how it really go, I mean, like these people who be around those people, there are associates in a way. Like, we have females that speak business that's not just one woman saying it. There's barbers that speak business. There's people in the barbershop that speak business. There are people that we know personally that know people. And I'm saying out here in the Hollywood realm, the Hollywood guys that I know, I see who they are. And I will admit, there is envy because I know I don't fit in around them. I will be the outsider around them.
They don't fit in. They getting fitted in.
How about that?
But here, can I say something?
Shit pushed in big time homes.
But here's the problem. Here's where it sucks, right?
They say my hat came with a switchblade. Go
we
ahead.
all move here to try to make it. Some of us already were here. We were fooled to believe by America, our parents, our corrupt system, that if you work hard and you are talented, that you have a shot at making it. And I think that normal heterosexual men have a right to be publicly outraged if you have to be that way to make it. That is not fair. That is not good business. That is not just. If you have to be gay or get it in the booty or whatever you call it to go to another level, why is it not publicly stated? It should be publicly stated. We should know this for a fact. You shouldn't have millions and thousands of people here moving here in droves who think, if I do it this way, this is how it's going to work. It's not right. It's like it's secrecy. And when people operate in secrecy, it's to maintain control of something that is corrupted. I have a right to speak on anything that is corrupted by unjust, and I won't even say ungodly because I don't know what everybody believes in. But if that's the factor, just say it. Don't say a motherfucker ain't talented enough. Don't say a motherfucker ain't got what it takes, or we having this audition process with all these people and we gonna take the best person. Just say you taking who's fucking, if that's what it is.
Man, Craig, you know, it's so real what you said. Go ahead, D. I don't want to cut you off.
I was just going to say, yes, you do. Everybody has that right to express themselves, say that, but you also have to be prepared for repercussions.
Straight up, yeah.
And that's it. That's what's happening right now on the internet, is that not only just maybe what you have said, but I think you'll always be a target if you have something they want. And what they want right now online is views, is topics, is stories. And if Corey is way more either I would say popular or hot or whatever, or
what is that?
Or easier, we got to go after him. I think that's
$5 right there. It said what? Budden admitted to being Backdoria.
I don't know.
April M says that. Listen, that's what I want to ask these people. Do I have to be at war with you to ask you, have you ever been penetrated or penetrated a man in any way? Do I have to be at war with you to ask that? Well, because I want to ask the brother Joe Budden's that. I want to ask a lot of people that, because we're getting to the point in society, we can't keep hiding this. There's a lot of people who would have no idea about Joe Budden's that way. There's a lot of people who would have no idea about Mr. Gaiman that way. Mr. Gaiman is somebody whose name I don't want to say because I've known them since I started comedy. But Mr. Gaiman has it in for me because one day we had a phone call and he holds a grudge. Everybody who don't remember who Mr. Gaiman is, all I'm saying, this is the guy who brought me to stage the first time I went on stage. Mr. Gaiman. I call him Mr. Gaiman because his major movie role that he got, his name was Mr. Gaiman. And I don't want to say his name because I'm really disappointed in him because this past whatever show he had a real Backdoria dude and they was shitting all over me. I mean, they were talking about me bad. Yeah. And I was like, oh, okay, I'm glad it came out because I think the time when we had a talk on the phone, on the show, it got to him because I think he got caught in a lie. on that phone conversation. So from now on, he's Mr. Gayman. And, you know, he's been a person I've had up here on the show and everything. You know what I'm saying? But I'm not going to say your name no more because I believe you have venom, and I don't think that's fair. Because I called you and you said everything was cool. But then next thing I know, on your little podcast, you know, the homie Dante kept it 100 though. He kept it 100. But Mr. Gayman and the gay man, it was Mr. Gayman and a gay man, they was talking about me on their show. Everybody knows who I'm talking about. They're saying it in the
Everybody knows. Yeah. It's like I'm a movie star.
Right. You know what I'm saying? It's like, but he's not Joe Budden. Joe Budden's, I would love to debate him and his crew because they said something that I thought was a good topic to talk about. They said being gay is not a crime. What Puffy did was a crime. And I don't know if people even know this who are outside of the United States. There are places in this country where they don't allow all that man-on-man Nestea plunging. You can't take the Nestea plunge in all countries. You know what I'm saying? This is America where they want the chaos and they want the hotel towels to be ruined. Yeah. They want those towels to be ruined. They should make them dark black so people, they won't be happy about it, but at least they won't know what they're doing. Yeah. You know what I'm saying? These white hotel towels are useless after the Backdoria mob leaves. And I'm saying like, yo, I would say to Joe Buttons, I don't look at it as snitching, man. I look at it as, you know what I'm saying? It's a perverted act. And I speak on it because, you know what I'm saying? I make jokes of perverted things. That's what I do. So I can speak on perversion. Yeah. I don't look at perversion as something you can't say nothing about.
But the way that you speak about it, it is perverse.
Perverse. Explain that.
Well, I mean, if it's used to control, subdue, or blackmail, that's a perverse act. So as far as the act of two dudes or two women having sex, I mean, I don't really have an opinion on that at all.
All right, y'all. I don't want to play the whole damn episode, but that's some of the comments made from Corey Holcomb in response to Joe Budden and Godfrey. Okay, I'll make sure to leave the link in the description so y'all can check out the full episode. But yeah, man, as you can see, Corey has pissed some people off, right? Especially the LGBT community after hearing certain things Corey has said on the show. But this is, you know, this isn't surprising, right? For those who tune into Corey Holcomb's show, they understand that, you know, they speak on trending topics. I mean, people have to understand entertainment is very lucrative. You know, it's a big business, and this is why a lot of companies are formed, right, behind entertainment, you know, covering trending news, including my channel. Like, let's not, you know, bullshit. No, this is a business after a while. And Corey Holcomb, you know, a show that was essentially created for, you know, a show that was created as a safe space for Corey Holcomb to get his shit off. You know what I mean? And here we are 15 years later, and Corey still gets mentioned based on the takes he has on the show. You know, I'm not here to brainwash, you know, people into saying that Corey is, you know, accurate all the time. No, that's not the case. This is why the guest on Godfrey's show, right, the co-host says, listen, man, you get at people all the time, and, you know, once you win, you win. You don't dictate how the game goes. You know what I mean? Once you have a platform in which you can respond to people and give your take, after a while, you know, people, they keep note of all of the things that were said. And at some point, they return fire. You know what I mean? Corey, in the situation with Comedy Hype, like I said, they've been sending shots back and forth for years. And, you know, Hype, they on one now. They got some footage of fans walking out the show. Now, I've seen Corey, you know, on several occasions. And when people walk out of shows, if they're walking out, it's normally women who are upset at the subject matter, the content, you know what I mean, his stand-up material, because it could come off very offensive. You know what I mean? If you come into a comedy show, you know what I mean, all tight and tense, like I said, it's tough for couples. You know what I mean? If you don't have that sense of humor where you can sit back and relax and enjoy the show, I've seen women hear certain things that were said from Corey and they just get up and walk out. And people, they get a kick out of it. They laugh. It's almost as if it's a part of the show at times. Now, again, this is a different situation because, you know, arena tours, that's different. You know, all of the shows I seen with Corey did stand up, you know, none of them were in the arena. So according to Corey, there was some, I guess, miscommunication in regards to him headlining that night. And you know how certain fans are, especially the age demographic, man, they trying to beat the traffic. You know what I mean? So, you know, Corey, he explained it, but at the same time, like I said, you know, he's definitely known for his takes at this point, outside of his stand-up. You know what I mean? Doing shows, and now he's putting out music as well. But like I said, man, Corey Holcomb, he can be controversial at times, and this is why people can appreciate him, because they know he's going to be unapologetic in his take. You get what I mean? Everyone's, you know, PC. Everyone's trying to hold out for a so-called relationship instead of speaking on what we all see. It's interesting, you know what I mean? Because people like to pick and choose exactly, you know, when to be upset, you know what I mean? When to call out individuals for, you know, having a take or an opinion on certain things. Like I said, this is just the era we're in media. And I will say, you know, there's pros and cons to it, you know, and we've gotten to a point where platforms have invited on people to just flat out lie for a check. That part of the interview game, I ain't gonna lie, that in itself has to stop. And we watch these interviews and we know people are full of shit. And now what the court system has done, they've come up with a creative way to use people in their lies as a way to convict people. You know what I mean? And that's corrupt in itself. And it doesn't seem like it could lead to something that's serious, but that's how it starts on one of these interviews, on a couch, you know, people putting out information that the public can't confirm nor deny. However, you got somebody trying to build a case against, said Diddy or whomever, they're going to take those, you know what I mean, those words, those comments serious and build a case. We've seen it with Jaguar Wright. You know what I mean? So many people who have said things on platforms, and now when, you know, people are getting indicted and now you have to, you know, take the stand, now it's a big thing. And we understand the justice system in itself is corrupt, but this is the game plan that they use. You know what I mean? So you got to be mindful of what you say on these platforms. Let's be real. You know what I mean? Got to be mindful of what's being said on these platforms, even on the rappers aspect with Vlad and No Jumper, you know, Big U. I mean, they just sitting back, eating popcorn, building cases because people are just telling, man, telling. We're in a different era now, and if it isn't the attention that comes from the clout, you know, the fame, so to speak, it's the money, one way or another. And at the end of the day, if you're getting into this business to cover content, all I will say is, you know, do your best to display integrity, you know, uphold integrity, give the people the story and let them decide, you know. But at the end of the day, we also can't talk away from the truth, you know. These claims that have been made for many years in Hollywood, you know, our actors, our people being put in these situations, you know, chasing a career in Hollywood and ultimately, you know, scarring their life forever. You know what I mean? Putting themselves in these rooms, in these situations in hopes to get that big role. And here they are years later telling their horror stories of the industry. And Corey Holcomb, people look at him like, oh, wait a minute. Corey's been speaking on these things for years, you know. But again, once you start name dropping people, some of your peers in the business, you can best believe it's going to create controversial backlash. People are now they're going to do certain things behind the scenes. So when Corey Holcomb says, listen, I strongly believe, I'm blackballed based on my takes, then, it's like you die on your sword. You know what I mean? Hate it or love it. I will say in this episode here, I'll make sure to leave the link in the description, but I'm curious to see how the situation with him and Godfrey play out. You know what I mean? I could really see Corey Holcomb going on Joe Budden's podcast. But Godfrey, on the other hand, this is interesting because Corey Holcomb said some things about Godfrey in the past. I think he made claims that Godfrey used to stay with a gay man or something like that. They hashed it out on air. And like I said, from the clip that we heard, I didn't really hear Godfrey go in on Corey. You know what I mean? According to Corey, he feels like Godfrey has some resentment against him based on comments that Corey has made about Godfrey in the past. Okay, like I said, there was some claims made, and apparently that wasn't the case. But according to Corey, he thinks Godfrey was caught in a lie. You get what I mean? It's a lot of layers to it. But as we can all agree, Corey Holcomb has, made a nice list of people who are upset with him. You know what I mean? We can go to Tasha K. I mean, damn, he done pissed off a lot of people because he says certain things that rub people the wrong way. You know what I mean? Does he always get it right? No. You know what I mean? Got to be real. No one gets it right all the time. Even here on this platform, I didn't call Corey out based on things that he said on this platform. I mean, at the end of the day, we all have our take. And like I said, we don't always get it right, but in the end, Corey will go right on his platform and address it head on, whereas certain people, they'll ignore it. You know what I mean? They'll do their best to be like, look, we ain't talking about that. But as you can see, the current climate of interviews has gotten to a point where celebs are even hesitant to do interviews because they don't want to get caught up in the controversy, especially after all of this Diddy controversy. I mean, god damn. Terrance Howard, he just, breathed more life into it, added more fuel to speculation. But to be fair, he didn't say that Diddy hit on him. You know what I mean? He said he had a conversation with his assistant and asked why Diddy was, weird. And according to Terrance Howard assistant, he said, I think Diddy try and smash. You know what I mean? And that's what Terrance said. You know what I mean? So again, wasn't anything that Diddy did to him per se, but with Diddy's trial getting ready to start, this is the last thing you want to hear if I'm Diddy's lawyer. Like, damn. And just earlier today, they already talked about Diddy adding a lawyer to his case. Check this out. Before we let y'all go, I appreciate y'all tuning in. You know what I'm saying? But hold up now. Let's get straight to it real quick. Yeah, apparently Diddy has added Young Thug lawyer to his team, man. So, hold on. Because according to reports, Diddy has pleaded not guilty, of course. But I'm hearing that he got Young Thug lawyer on the team now. Diddy not playing, man. Look at that. Look at that. See what I'm saying? Sean Combs adds Young Thug's lawyer to trial, man. Look at that, to his trial, to his team. And you seen Young Thug, they try to get him back, try to say he violated after making some tweets. But the point is, Diddy getting ready to start his trial, and here come Terrance Howard making these claims, and people, taking it for face value because it's Terrance Howard. You know what I mean? But ultimately, like I said, this is Corey Holcomb and his reaction to his name being mentioned after he gave his reaction to Terrance Howard exposing claims against Diddy. And of course, he also went at Godfrey as well. Like I said, man, y'all let me know. What are your thoughts on Corey Holcomb and his response to both Joe Budden and Godfrey? Again, do you think it would be a good idea for Joe Budden to invite Corey Holcomb up on the podcast to talk about, his way of outing people, as Joe Budden would say? You know what I mean? And also, how do you think the situation with him and Godfrey is going to play out? Because to me, I think it's a misunderstanding. If you've seen something that Godfrey said, shit, send it to me on the email. Because like I said, Godfrey isn't a person that goes at people unless he's being mentioned. You know what I mean? And the fact that Corey is his peer, you know, he's always treading lightly, you know what I mean, out of respect. And the fact they hashed it out on the show, I thought everything was good. You know what I mean? I understand the co-host on Godfrey's show. Listen, Corey, he pisses a lot of people off. You know what I mean? But ultimately, like I said, I'm curious to see how this whole situation plays out. Again, let me know your thoughts in the comment section below. But that's all I got for y'all today. My name is Sensei Rip. Till next time. Peace. Salute world, I need y'all to do me a favor and check out my homie Grand Finale's latest video titled Less is More, okay, available on YouTube right now. I'm about to bless y'all with a teaser. If you like what you hear, make sure to hit the link in the description to subscribe to the homie's channel. Also leave a comment and tell him that Rip sent you, all right y'all, peace.
You starstruck, you stuck when I leave you in awe. What you saw had you floored as you picked up your jaw. Can't ignore you were shook to the core. Couldn't endure what many claim this war wasn't witnessed before. Earthquakes and aftershocks and tectonic plates and magma rock.
Thank you for watching my video. If you like what you see, make sure to hit that subscribe button if you haven't already. And also hit that notification bell to get the latest on hip hop, sports, comedy, whatever. All right, we got you covered over here at Forgotten Kings TV. And also, click on one of these videos, okay? All right, y'all.